Melissa Jefferson Wooden doing enough to stay ahead of Dina Asher-Smith, and she's streaking away with this. Jefferson Wooden shuts it down, 22.
When Melissa Jefferson Wooden stepped onto the track in Tokyo, nobody knew they were about to witness history. The quiet kid who once donated her bone marrow to save her father's life was about to become the fastest woman on Earth. Let's talk about the 10 most incredible moments that made 2025 the year of Melissa Jefferson Wooden. Moment 1. She became World 100-meter champion. September 14th, 2025, Tokyo's National Stadium. The world was watching. Melissa Jefferson Wooden exploded out of the blocks in the women's 100-meter final and never looked back. She crossed the finish line in 10.61 seconds. That wasn't just fast, that was a championship record. That was history.
Jefferson Wooden into her running in the middle of the field, but she's got company. Clayton going well to her side, but Melissa Jefferson Wooden streaks away in the closing stages.
The winning margin? 0.15 seconds. That's the second biggest gap in World Championships history. She didn't just win, she dominated. After the race, still catching her breath, she told reporters what had driven her all year. She said, "I came in as a hunter. I have never won a world or an Olympic 100-meter title, and I worked for that this whole year." And boy, did she work. She went undefeated all season in the 100 meters. Every single race, every single win. Tokyo was supposed to be the ultimate test. Olympic champion Julian Alfred was there. Defending world champion Sha'Carri Richardson was there. Jamaican legend Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce was running her final race. None of it mattered. Melissa was simply better. Moment 2. Runs the fourth fastest 100 meters ever. Here's the thing about that 10.61. It wasn't just a championship record. It moved Melissa into 4th place on the all-time list. 4th in history. Let that sink in. Only 3 women have ever run faster. Florence Griffith Joyner, Elaine Thompson-Herah, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. That's the company she's in now.
On the straight, she's going after another record. Gwen Torrance is running fairly well outside, but this race belongs to Florence Griffith Joyner, 21:33.
She also tied Thompson-Herah's Olympic record from the same stadium back in 2021. Same track, same speed, 4 years later. And here's what makes it even more special. She became the fastest American woman alive. She passed Carmelita Jeter, who held that title for years. When reporters told her about the all-time rankings, she seemed almost shocked. She said it was surreal and didn't sound real, but she'd worked so hard for it, so she shouldn't be too surprised. Moment 3, World 200-meter gold and sprint double. 5 days after winning the 100 meters, Melissa was back on the track, this time for the 200 meters. Most sprinters would be tired. Most sprinters would be satisfied with 1 gold medal. Not Melissa. She wanted more. She ran 21.68 seconds in the final. She won by almost half a second. That's huge in sprinting.
Wooden is floating here. Amy Hunt trying to get in the mix. But look at this from Jefferson Wooden. She's absolutely flying in the night sky of Tokyo.
Only one person in history had ever won by more in this event at Worlds. Allyson Felix back in 2007. And guess what? Melissa's time moved her past Felix on the all-time list too. She became the first American woman ever to win both sprint events at a single World Championships. Only the 4th woman in history to do it. The last person to achieve this, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce in 2013.
You know what? It wasn't her best start, but her pickup was absolutely outstanding. Okabare was out of it. Look at Ahore, too, outside of Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, dipping for the silver.
12 years earlier. Reflecting on the achievement, Melissa shared what the accomplishment meant. She said being the first American to win the women's 200 meters at a World Championships since Allyson Felix meant a lot, because she looked up to her so much growing up. At the start of the season, she told her coaches she wanted to take the 200 meters more seriously. They looked at each other like she was joking, but she proved everyone wrong. From thinking she could make the team to thinking she could win trials, to thinking she could medal at Worlds, to thinking she could win the whole thing. She did it all. Moment 4, Diamond League domination. Before Tokyo, Melissa was proving herself on the Diamond League circuit. These are the biggest track meets in the world outside of championships. The best athletes compete. The competition is fierce. Melissa won everywhere she went. In Brussels, just 3 weeks before the World Championships, she ran 10.76 seconds in the 100 meters. She beat Sha'Carri Richardson by 0.32 seconds. That's massive. Richardson is a world champion. She's one of the fastest women ever. And Melissa left her in the dust. After that race, Melissa sent a message to everyone. She said she knew she was in great shape, and it was all about putting together the perfect race at the perfect time, when it matters most, and that's at the World Championships in Tokyo. The plan was definitely to go out there and take gold. 3 weeks later, she did exactly that. She also won in Silesia earlier, running 10.66 seconds. Every time she raced, she was either winning or running incredibly fast times, sometimes both. The Diamond League proved Melissa wasn't just fast, she was consistent. She was unstoppable. Moment 5. Undefeated National Champion, August 1st, 2025. Hayward Field in Eugene, Oregon, the USA Track and Field Championships. This is where you earn your spot on Team USA. This is where dreams come true or get crushed. Melissa wasn't worried. She ran 10.65 seconds in the 100 meters. World-leading time, 5th fastest in history. She won her 2nd national title. Her first was back in 2022. But this one felt different. This one felt special.
It is a great start for Melissa Jefferson Wooden. She has grabbed control of this race, and she is separating. Her dominant season continues. 10.65 and a national.
She reflected on how much she'd grown in 3 years, how much she'd learned, how many changes and sacrifices she'd made. And she said being U.S. champion in that moment just made her happy because she didn't lose sight of what she always wanted to become. And what did she want to become? She didn't hesitate. She said, "I want to be the greatest to ever do it." No jokes, no false humility, just pure confidence and determination. She also won the 200 meters at those championships, running 21.84 seconds, another personal best. She qualified for Worlds in both events. She went 7 for 7 in the 100 meters that season. Undefeated, unstoppable, undeniable. Moment 6. Prefontaine Classic win over top sprinters. July 5th, 2025, the 50th Prefontaine Classic. This meet is legendary. The best athletes in the world show up. 17 Olympic champions from Paris were there. It was the best track meet ever held, at least statistically. Melissa lined up against Olympic champion Julian Alfred. This was the race everyone wanted to see. The Olympic champ versus the world leader, side by side in the middle lanes. They stayed side by side for the whole race. But Melissa had a step on Alfred from the start. She never gave it up. She won 10.75 to 10.77. Here's the crazy part. The race was run into a 1.5 meters per second headwind. That's strong. Wind conversions suggest her time would have been about 10.65 or 10.66 in still conditions. She was flying. She beat the entire Paris Olympics podium that day. Richardson finished last. Clayton was 4th. Melissa was simply on another level. Moment 7. World's fastest woman in 2025. All season long, Melissa ran fast. Not just once or twice, every single time. She had the 5 fastest times in the 100 meters in 2025. All of them belonged to her. The world lead of 10.61, her 10.65 from Nationals, her 10.66 from Silesia, her 10.73 from Philadelphia, her 10.75 from multiple races. Nobody else was even close. She ran multiple races under 10.80 into strong headwinds. That's insane. Most sprinters dream of running under 10.80 once with perfect conditions. Melissa did it repeatedly with wind blowing in her face. She was the fastest woman in the world. No debate, no argument, no question. Moment 8, Sprint Triple Crown. Winning the 100 meters at Worlds was historic. Winning the 200 meters too was legendary. But Melissa wasn't done. On the final day of the championships, she ran the 4x100 meter relay for Team USA. And they won gold. That made her a triple world champion. 3 golds, 1 championship, the sprint triple. Only one American woman had ever done this before. Actually, scratch that. No American woman had ever done this. Melissa was the first. Only the second woman ever after Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce in 2013. This moment was extra special for Melissa because her family was there. Her parents, Johanna and Melvin, watched from the finish line. Her father had a bone marrow transplant back in 2018. Melissa was his donor. She saved his life. He said he felt blessed because he was there to witness it, and that transplant allowed him to be alive to witness the whole thing. Melissa's response. She said if you have an opportunity to help someone, do it, because that's what life is about. Moment 9. Grand Slam track success. Before the big championships, Melissa dominated the new Grand Slam track series. This was the inaugural season of Michael Johnson's new track league. She signed up and immediately became the star. In Kingston, Jamaica, in April, she won both the 100 and 200 meters. In Miami in May, she became the first athlete to claim back-to-back titles in the series. In Philadelphia at the end of May, she ran 21.99 in the 200 meters, breaking 22 seconds for the first time. She beat Olympic champion Gabby Thomas. The very next day, she ran 10.73 in the 100 meters, moving into the top 10 all-time.
Wooden already got a big start. Gabby Thomas 2 meters behind at this point. Tamara Davis going well in second, but miles ahead of everybody. Jefferson Wooden was 10.74.
Grand Slam track proved Melissa could win anywhere, anytime, against anyone. Moment 10. A year that changed everything. At the beginning of 2025, Melissa went on a weekend getaway with her husband, Roland. They got married in March in Florida. He asked her if she was ready for the year and what she wanted to accomplish. They created a guidebook together. Whatever she was feeling, whatever she wanted to achieve, she put it in that book. Now she can look back and see how far she came. And how far did she come? 3 world championship golds, championship record, 4th fastest woman in history, fastest American woman alive, undefeated season, sprint double, sprint triple. When she thinks about her younger self, she believes little Melissa would be over the moon with no regrets, no doubts, no nothing. 2025 wasn't just a good year for Melissa Jefferson Wooden, it was the year she became a legend.